Well, hello, model car fans. Welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Revell, and this week I'm showing you my completed build here of a 67 Chevelle SS396. Now, some of you guys seem to really like the history and everything when I get into some of the weird options and some of the facts that pertain to these cars, and I really enjoy doing that. One, it helps me stay motivated and build these cars, and sometimes it's just fun to find rare options or just weird facts and just trivia that I really enjoy. It's not necessarily because I need to have it exactly right. That's never been my purpose, and you guys have seen it in some of my builds where the build may not be 100% accurate, but I just kind of like looking into that stuff and finding out that information. So, that's just, for me, it's just fun. And I'd like sharing that with you guys, and you guys seem to really enjoy it. So when it comes to the 67 Chevelle, SS396. One of the things that I thought was interesting with this particular car was how the options and limits that were put on the car. Now in 66, you could get the 375 horse L78 396. That bad boy was available in 66. And there was some things going on in GM that they pulled the reins back in 67 on a lot of cars. So, for instance, the 66 Pontiac GTO, the Tri-Carb 389 was available. The 66 Oldsmobile W30, even though it's a very rare car, multiple Tri-Carb carburation on that was available on Oldsmobile. And GM said, no more multiple carburation on any of the cars except the Corvette. That's why the 427 Tri-Carb was available on the Corvette and not in anything else. That didn't stop dealers from swapping and doing that stuff, but it was going on. But what had happened with, like with Pontiac, the GTO, 67, the 400 engine was available, but single 4-barrel. No more tri-carb carburation on that car. Oldsmobile, the same thing. No more tri-carb carburation on those cars. It was just gone. It was really just the Corvettes after that. But the Chevelle, the reins came down that no, you couldn't get the 375 horsepower 396 in it. You could get the 325 horsepower 396, and you could get the 350 horsepower 396, but the top wasn't available, and the 427 wasn't available. But that didn't stop dealers from swapping in motors. So supposedly one of the numbers that I seen was roughly 615 of them got the special high performance 396 swapped in. And that's something, as a person who really got into parts, was interested in. How did these dealers do it? Did any of them cheat? Did they just take the 396, stab the special high performance cam and heads on it, and go that route, even though it didn't have the pistons? The pistons were a little bit higher compression. Or did they take a short block and long block and swap it in? And if they did that, did they go so far as to swap all of the special high performance pulleys and alternator and stuff? Even though the alternator really wasn't any different, the pulleys were. The pulleys had deeper grooves so that when you wound these motors up, it didn't throw the belts versus the standard version. So, and the balancers were different and some of the, other parts of the motor. So I always wondered how complete those engine swaps were. Now the 427, of course, those ones that got swapped, that you really had to swap the entire thing. But I just always wondered, I'd assume the proper way would be swapping the entire short or long block with heads, swapping it that way. And then, did they reuse the intake or go with the aluminum intake? How far did they go? How complete did GM sell the crate engines at that time? So that's just stuff that's always wondered. I have a GM parts book. I've been, selling GM parts since 1995. I get kind of interested in that. Matter of fact, at a fun, here's my old parts book here, 75 and down, as it says. And my friend wrote this, aka should be discontinued book. Somebody else wrote almost. But it's the old parts book, and you really got to know how to read it. And I was trained on how to read it as a guy that was really interested in these cars in 95. And I had the 71 Chevelle, and the computers went 76 and newer. But anyway, that was something that I kept. Some of the old parts guys, they kind of appreciated, so they taught me how to read that versus the computers even though it's like not necessary. I don't even have that book at work anymore. I mean, nobody comes in asking me, for old Chevelle parts and, GM parts at that time, and pretty much everything's discontinued, but in 1995 it wasn't. When it comes to this particular build, rambling on a little bit too much on that, but those of you guys who enjoy that stuff, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed before, if you're new to the channel. I got plenty of other videos and other stuff for you to fumble around and look around on. But like, this is my newest build, and I just finished it. It's the Revell kit. And I started in 2012 as, a kind of a stalled project because I didn't know what color I wanted to go with. But I found out about this Madura Red Metallic, and Scale Finishes has it, but it's hard to photograph, so the camera keeps wanting to change it. When I put the black car in front of it, you can kind of see it changes the color a little bit. When I pull it away, it goes a little bit more purple. So I'm going to take this outside and film it outside and cut into this video, and we'll come right back to it after that. Well, here we are out in the sun. Let's see how she looks here, and the sun's definitely bringing it out, and a little bit of the dust on there from the room, but gives you an idea of what this thing really looks like. And boy, that really does pop here in the sun. Then this rotisserie here, this is something BG gave me, so we can thank BG for this. Gave it to me a long time ago. Many of you suggested I get one of these things, and I'm not real big on them, and it's a little, mainly because I like to grab and tool, and there's a lot of stopping and turning, and this thing really should get another paint job, because you can see he's obviously painted on it. But here we are. Definitely a nice afternoon Arizona sun, really baking my back here because it's 106 out right now. But you guys should enjoy this, and this really does show the color, so I hope this really does come out for you guys. So looking pretty cool here. So we'll continue on with the video and move on there. So there you have it, what she looks like in the sun. So now that we did the outside shots, I'll get more into the actual build itself. And of course, this black one right here, this is my original build from back when these kits first came out in the early 90s, and I've shown that on the channel, but I kind of have that out for comparison. But this Revell kit, really nice kit. Now, one of my issues is it had these plain tires, and redline tires are not easy to find that fit the Revell wheels. Now, without switching out wheels and tires, because all the Model Haas tires, they seem to fit the AMT and the Promos, so they don't fit the Revell wheels that well. I like the Revell wheels. They're a bit more three-dimensional, but here you can see the color shift there. And then the rocker moldings, which they're chrome and you glue them on, but I ended up foiling them and painting the black in there, so you can see that. And then I did the same thing to the hood too. Glued those in, except for those I didn't foil. That's the chrome. So there's the hood on there. And this hood really, this chrome molding on the front, it really just is tight fitting and snaps the hood in place. So I get a little nervous about this hood. So check this out. There we go. So I'm going to take the hood off. But the chrome piece is actually part of the hood, which is cool. I like that Revell does that, and the detailing under the hood. So there's our 325 horsepower 396, which is the decal they give you. I believe that says 325. Yeah. And be a donor swap as far as risks go, but reservoir, battery, the brake, the underhood details on here is actually really nice. Mirror's pretty nice. I think the mirror is a little bit more accurate. I like the grill and setup on this. It's two pieces. It's kind of hard to paint and detail, but it did it all in paint. And same thing with the back. Nice taillights. And I had a little trouble with that SS emblem and painting all of this, because that's one big chunk of chrome. And then there's the underside with the exhaust, the gold shocks. Delco shocks at the time were mostly gold. So that's what a lot of them end up being on the muscle cars. And came out pretty nice. Those wheels are hand painted, by the way, if I mentioned that. Did the circle with the white gel pen and then went back over them with red paint. So that's how I got in there. I need to get a better red gel pen. So, but there's that, and it's looking really good there with this paint. But as I mentioned, here's my AMT one, which both of these came out pretty much at the same time. And so it's real similar detail. Pretty nice on there, not quite as detailed on the AMT kit versus the Revell kit. But it's nice. It's still, pretty decent chassis and everything. This has Revell wheels and tires, or at least Revell tires that I'd swapped on there. Not sure if those wheels are on there, but this is a very old build from the 90s. Not my best work. I have shown it on the channel. So a lot of fingerprints and a lot of detail work, but the grills and tail panel on this, pretty nice. And then it's got the moldings, and this is a separate chrome piece as well. So real similar construction between the two. So we'll put that hood back on there and put that away. But this one, the chrome stays on the grill and it doesn't go on the hood. But Revell did it the correct way, but sometimes it's easier to do it the way AMT did. But get that on there. There we go. Get the hood snapped in place. So I'm gonna go put that one away. But anyway, really liking the way that one came out, even though it really appears more purple in the video than black, but it's just kind of funny. When I put this in there, it'll turn it more red, especially when I turn it this way. For whatever reason, this direction, it really seems to really look more red. There you go. Check that out. You can see it change. But that's the iPhone and what it does in the videos. But hopefully the outdoor footage came out much better. So I'll be doing that section later. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments. I really do appreciate it. And you guys, you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next Saturday.